Okay, we're all starting the same numbers, 1694. Here we go, 7, 4, 1. 741. Oh, I'm gonna get to keep it? $741. There we go. We got a winner. Over in the back corner.
Marty?
Come and get your money.
How much is it?
How much is it? 118. There you go. $118. That'll pay for lunch. Doug, are you available? Doug right now is sharing his last meeting as speaker coordinator. Oh no, you're going to give you more. All right, here you go, Doug.
You can't get rid of me quite that easy. First of all, they left me off the list of the coming events. I did see it flash up on the screen for a moment, but I'll just recite it a bit so you'll know who's coming in the next couple of meetings. Today I'll introduce Krista Pape on behalf of Pat Bouchard, who couldn't be with us. And next month, on April 14th, it'll be Frank O'Hearn. Not sure what he's going to talk about, but almost invariably it's going to be a little piece of history of Gananoque. He's a real history buff.
Really, I think.
And the next month is Graham Roy. That would be May 12th. Oh, okay, it's up there again. And that's a CN Rail Museum. That's in Smith Falls. And then in June, it'll be Elizabeth Rankin. And that'll be Banks of Last Resort. Now, Elizabeth is a member. Is she here today?
Yes. Yep.
Would you stand up so we'll know who we're going to get as a speaker? Very good. Thank you. So that's the rundown to there. We're pretty well booked right through the end, other than August the 10th, which I've been holding in case we get a feed on a speaker that would be a real dandy. We can fit that person in. Now, as I mentioned, Pat Bouchard can't be here today. She's in the hospital. So that's a good enough excuse. And Krista Pape was the person that she wanted to have as a speaker. Now, Pat's background, of course, is in real estate, and she's known Krista for quite a while because Krista's background is in mortgages, and they kind of go together. Krista started her career with a BA from Concordia University in early childhood education and spent 6 years as a teacher coordinator with high-risk children in Quebec. She went from there to real estate sales career for a few years, and then in 1995 she joined one of Canada's big banks as a mortgage representative. So she's been at this mortgage bit for a while. That was a bit limiting because she only had one mortgage supplier, the bank. So she moved to a mortgage broker firm, meaning that she could put her clients first and shop for the best mortgage that fitted the client's needs. I think nearly all of us in the room have had an ordinary plain old house mortgage. Maybe one, maybe two, maybe three, whatever. Now the banks are doing plenty of advertising. We're pretty well all done with that first lot of mortgages, but there may be a very good interest in a new thing that's called a reverse mortgage. And the banks are doing plenty of advertising geared to people of our age who use the equity in their home to draw out money for purposes whatever they want, retirement, educating grandchildren, starting grandchildren off in a new home with a down payment, whatever it might be. And that's what a reverse mortgage is. You can shop for this kind of mortgage too. Now you'll notice on the TV ads, they don't ever mention interest rate, but that's a key point. And I suspect Krista will fill us in a little on that. I suggested the title for the presentation to be Mortgages Forwards and Backwards. Would you please welcome Krista Pape?
Thanks, Doug. I think he's done everything I was going to present this morning. That was really good. Nice to see lots of familiar faces here, and thank you for having me. I haven't done a power presentation ever, so we'll see how it goes. But I'd like to just start with what Doug was saying, explaining mortgage brokering. It's very similar to insurance brokers that shop for you, and we get paid by the bank unless it's a private mortgage investor that sometimes is a very complicated situation, so we do charge in those cases. But for the majority of the business that I do, the bank will pay us. We're licensed through the Ministry of Finance, very, very highly regulated. And there's at least 15 to 20,000 of us running around in Ontario. And still, we're only at around 40% market share, which is hard to believe because we do everything for you A to Z. And the banks appreciate that because they're cutting a lot of staff lately, and they're really promoting mortgage brokers to do the work for them. So, as I said, I do A to Z, right to the funding with a lawyer, and you never have to go into the bank. And I do mortgages all across Canada, so it's not just Gananoque. By the way, Pat says hi. I'm good friends with Pat. She couldn't make it this morning, but I think she's watching, so say hello to Pat. All right. Let's see. I have my notes here as we go along. All right, so reverse mortgages, I'm not going to go into huge detail. I'd be happy to talk with you after the meeting if you have any questions. But basically, the reverse mortgages used to be, they used to carry a little bit of a bad name years ago, but the banks that are doing, we have 2 Schedule I banks in Canada doing them. And their growth is about 28% a year. So it's really growing. Now you can see from the slide that the main features are you don't have to qualify for the mortgage. It doesn't matter how much income you have. And that fits very well for many after the age of 55 if they're retired. You don't need to sell your home. You can stay. It's a great option. And you can access up to 55% of the value of your property. Now, the customers that I am dealing with in this area, they usually go to maybe 30 to 40%. They have to see your property and decide. The 55% is the highest in Canada, so that would refer more to the bigger cities. So, as I said, the big part of this is you don't have to qualify. The money that you get on the funding date is tax-free. A lot of people that I'm trying to qualify for mortgages that are on a pension have difficulty making it work. It's really a difficult situation, as you've heard. My average first-time buyers need at least 100 to 150,000 combined income to buy a home today. So this is a wonderful product for anybody that needs extra money and does not want to have payments. All right, so I think I've mentioned a little bit about the audience, the market that's interested in this type of product. We will use the funds to pay off the mortgage that you have. They're not going to ask any questions about what you want to pay as far as credit cards or car loans and that kind of thing. Or you could just put the money in your bank and invest it. Some of my clients are using the money to get down payment gifted to their grandchildren or their children. The average down payment gifts that I'm seeing is 50 to 100,000 from parents and grandparents. A lot of the, you can see the various reasons for it. One spouse is now ill and the other one's fine, but they don't have the funds for the health care. And it's expensive, as many of you have heard, on average, what, $5,000 to $6,000 a month to be in a long-term care. So that's a lot of money. And one person is staying, this one spouse is staying in the home and the other one is going, so you cannot sell the home, or you don't want to anyways. So you're not forced to sell. Many other reasons for traveling. Some, you can use the money for purchasing. So if you want to buy a cottage or another home. A lot of what I'm seeing is people want to downsize, but downsizing can be quite expensive. The home you're in is not valued at the same price that that condo is. That's on, you know, everything on one level, and condo fees, etc. So sometimes, you know, after 55, 60, there is a need for a small mortgage. The banks that offer reverse mortgages also indicates there that you can have a supplement to your pension income. So you don't necessarily need to take out the whole amount right away and use it. They will supplement you monthly with it as well. So there's many, many different programs for it. Let's go to the next one here. This one is just, I'm sorry, are you doing it or am I doing it? I'm bad. Okay, there we go. This explains that all mortgages in the normal fashion need to be qualified for. The government's put in huge regulations on qualifying. In most cases, I have to use the interest rate for, let's say, a 5-year term, which is around 4%. And then I have to add 2% on to qualify you at 6%. That's called the stress test. So all of these, you know, why don't I get a home line of credit? You can if you qualify, but you also have payments. Those payments, interest only, will never pay the balance down. So that's an issue compared to getting a reverse mortgage where you have no payments. Private loans, those can be higher interest rates than a reverse mortgage rate. And then your regular mortgages, you've got a lot of qualifying to do. And as you all know, when you start, let's say, a 5-year term on a $200,000 mortgage, after 5 years, you may have paid off $18,000 of it. So it's slow going to pay it down. All right. Also, you know, if you stay in your home, you can see here it's indicating the costs if you move. You know, you've got your land transfer tax and legal fees, et cetera, moving. That is a lot of money. So the interest is accumulating in the background on a reverse mortgage because you're not making payments. But when you look at the cost of moving, thanks, Tim, and all of what it entails, it's quite expensive. The other part of it is sometimes when you're downsizing, you're not going to stay in the same local neighborhood. You know, you're going to say goodbye to friends. It's a whole different environment. You may have to move to a different town. It's too expensive in this town. I'm moving over here. So, you know, those are also factors. All right. This is describing the qualifications for a home equity loan versus a regular mortgage and reverse mortgage. I think I've mentioned it, 55% of the value. Around this area, it's going to be lower. They offer fixed rates, variable rates, open mortgage. The penalties are really encompassing your needs. If someone passes away, there's no penalty on the mortgage. You will choose your term. So if you have 6 months, you're up for renewal, just like it's run just like a regular mortgage. Also, if you end up needing long-term care, they will reduce the penalty by 50%. So it's tailor-made for people that are retired and have different needs later on, because you can never guarantee what's going to happen tomorrow. All right. So from the statistics, 93% of seniors want to stay in their home. It's also part of the government's agenda it's cheaper for them if everybody stays in their home. My dad's 90, he's still in our original home. He's lucky he has 3 children that take care of him that run like chickens. And he doesn't even live in town here, he lives in Montreal, so it's a lot of work. But 93% want to stay, and this is just another advantage for you, and I can talk to you in detail, or you can go directly through Equity Bank to get your mortgage approved. And from my experience, from the people that I've been dealing with, there's a few things. A lot of people don't know you're a friend of theirs. You don't know how tough it has been for them financially. I know, as they tell me. But they try to keep, you know, status quo to make it look good. And in the background, it's really rough. The property tax, then a big repair on the furnace, $20,000. All sorts of things happen. They have a fixed income. It's really difficult. So when I have a meeting with them, and then oftentimes I meet with the children as well, because they want their kids to be involved, they say to me, do not tell my children what situation I'm in. So just note that. Let's not compare, you know, everybody, and that's, I think, the worst thing we do is compare ourselves to each other. We don't know what people are going through. In this particular case, this person's family said no, and, you know, it took over a year to sell. And that was rough. And it's saying goodbye to the area. If you're now going to rent, like she did, how much is the rent per month? That's another big factor. All right. All right, here's a little bit of a summary again, that 41% of Canadians over 55 are homeowners. And there are more Canadians over 65 than under 15 years of age, so we're a very big group. And 3 million households will enter retirement in the next decade. 66 of the retired Canadians are still carrying debt. 20% of retirees are still paying for mortgages, and 55% will need to adjust their lifestyle to avoid outliving their savings. There's less than 30% of Canadians that have a private mortgage. At this point, when I was reading up on it, I think there may be 15% of the young people coming on in the workforce that actually have a private pension. So this is going to become more and more popular as well. Alright, so I think I'm going to end it there because we're almost finished in the time frame that your meeting finishes. So does anybody have any questions? There's just so much more that I could talk about, but I'll give you a little bit of the gist of what this product is. Yes?
You said you were talking about interest rates that we charge on these chip loans. How much do
The interest rates are usually typically 1 to 2% higher than the 5-year term. Now that sounds like a lot, but do we know how much that is per month that we're talking about? On 200,000, maybe $50. If you take out your 200,000 of investments tomorrow, and I had a client do that needed to qualify for a mortgage, CRA clawed back her CPP immediately. Now, don't get me going on that one, but that's another example of, oh, I'm just going to take out my savings. Well, you worked hard for the CPP. You know, everybody put their earnings in there, and now not only she's buying a home, she needed some money for down payment, but her monthly income just dropped. So there's many, many reasons that the reverse mortgage makes sense. So the rates are a little bit higher, but if you take a home line of credit equity, that is running around 5 to 5.5% anyways. It's prime rate plus on those banks. Not only that, a lot of people are getting letters from the banks on their equity line of credit that they're either closing them or they're reducing them because the property value doesn't fit for that product that you received. So you could get one tomorrow, and next week or next year, not next week, but next year, they say, sorry, we're putting that into a fixed term, it's closed, you're not going to be able to use it. So there's a lot, it's very, very complex what's going on today, and you can't compare it to 20 years ago. Yes?
I'm wondering, how long does a reverse mortgage last? I mean, you keep talking about 5-year terms. I mean, is this your lifetime or what?
You will choose a term, just like a regular mortgage. So it could be an open term with no penalty, 6-month term, up to 5 years. And it's amortized over a 25-year period, just like a regular mortgage. So whenever you're ready and you want to move or sell, you know, that's when you pay it out.
So the maximum is a 5-year period?
The term, I believe, is a 5-year.
And then you have to renegotiate?
You'll just do the same as what you would do with a bank for renewal. They will quote you your renewal rate. So anybody that takes, you know, a 3-year term or a 5-year term, they're up for renewal. And the bank sends you the quote for the new term.
But then what happens after 5 years? Are you liable for that, to pay off that interest rate? Or that has accrued? I don't quite understand how it works.
Yeah, it's a regular mortgage
Right.
with a term that you choose.
Right.
So it's gonna, we're gonna talk about it, or you're gonna talk about it with the bank. I only need it for a year, I plan to move next year, whatever, I just want some money out now. Whatever your personal situation is, you'll choose your term. And that term, just like a regular mortgage, will be up for renewal on that contract date. You do not have to pay it back. It's automatically getting renewed. But interest rates at that time, 3 years from now, could be much lower or much higher, as all Canadians go through for a mortgage. Did I answer that question, or?
I had a different concept of the reverse mortgage, I guess, and so you're sort of giving a different aspect of it.
Yeah, all the funds for the reverse mortgage are payable whenever you decide to sell or get out, pay it off, whatever you want to do. It's just, the difference is there's no payment, no qualifying, and the interest is being calculated behind the scenes semi-annually. So the interest is part of the balance that you're going to pay off. Yes?
I'm a bit confused because we're talking mortgages. Is not the idea, I go to the bank and they give me a chunk of money to live on and that's it? Where's the mortgage and interest rates come in?
They're approving you for basically a mortgage that you have no payments on.
Okay, so let's say it's
Mhm.
$600,000 house.
Yeah.
So they give me a chunk of money. What's this interest rate and renewal all about? Because if I take that chunk of money and spend it, it's gone.
Mhm.
Does that mean I've got to come up with some money somewhere along the line?
It's the same, it's a mortgage that gets registered on your home. So the average mortgage for reverse mortgages right now is around $170,000. They give you the funds, just like I would qualify you because you wanted to refinance your home. Let's say you want to take $200,000 out of your home. The difference is you will not have payments
Okay, so
on the 200. In a mortgage, you have payments. So they're calculating the interest.
So, but am I on the hook at the end of 5 years for some money?
You're only on the hook if you sell your property or you die. Just like any other mortgage, right? If you sell your property and you have a mortgage charge on it, that is the first thing that will get paid off when you sell.
Suppose I'm in my house, they give me a chunk of money, I live there for another 15 years and decide, well, it's time to go out of the home. Doesn't the bank just sort of take charge of that house and it's all done?
55%.
I'm not understanding what you're saying exactly. If you stay in it for 15 years with a reverse mortgage and you sell, you decide, I'm going to sell, you will owe the mortgage that you took, the funds that you got, the cash that you got. That's not free, plus the interest, correct. Now, if you take $200,000 of investments out tomorrow, and they're RSPs, you may be in a 50% tax bracket, right? How much is that costing? You just gave that to the government. So it needs to be understood and compared to other options that you have available. Anybody else? You want to go for lunch, right? 3 minutes after 11? Yes.
Can you give me a ballpark figure if I took out $200,000 and lived in my house for 15 years and then sold it? About how much would be due? Ballpark. Average interest.
Yeah.
250? 300?
Okay, if you took 200 out and you had a mortgage, it's about $1,500 a month. Okay, that would be your payment. So now you save $1,500 a month.
That's not my question.
Oh, so above that, because they're accumulating interest, it's probably on 200,000, about 20,000 in the 5-year period, on top of the payments that you were not making, right? So it's pretty reasonable. But I would have to do it according to, see, the other thing is very hard to estimate. If it's 15 years and you're on a 5-year term, the interest rate could be half in 5 years from now. So they're calculating on that as well. But it is a little bit more expensive because you're not making your payments. But there's a reality out there that people are in need of that, or they don't have anybody to inherit their money. Why are they cutting back and not seeing their children in Toronto? No, can't afford the train. They're sitting on $1 million in equity. They're cash poor. This is the product to maintain a lifestyle. 4% of Canadians over the age of 70 are starting new businesses. So it's very interesting. I have a lot of friends over 65 that are creating new businesses. One of them told me it was $20,000 just to get the technical part of this set up for her. So those are the, there are many, many reasons that people are doing that. But thank you for your time. I have just one thing. I have incredible books written by the COO of Home Equity Bank, and I'll put them on the table for you. It's not just about mortgages. It's about all of what we all go through after 55. It's a fantastic read. So I don't have as many as all of you here, but let me know if you need one. I can get one for you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm over the time.
I can tell there's lots of questions, and this book, I have not read the book yet, but there will be copies of it on the table right beside, on the other side of the screen. And Krista can stay for a little bit, at least, before we go to lunch. So I can't even ask her one more question because we sort of ran right to the end of this. I'll just excuse myself here and get a little thank you something. We have a bit of a surprise. It's bread.
Why bread?
Why bread? Well, bread has been a staple of life throughout history and has is seen in many forms in many cultures. The breaking and sharing of bread is symbolic of life, peace, and friendships. This loaf is given to you as a symbol of our friendship, and thanks for sharing your knowledge with us today. Thank you very much. Krista will put up some of the books on the table there, and I think they'll answer a good deal of questions. Thank you, and it's about time for Brian.
Thank you, Doug. You and your group do a great job. Thank you very much. Okay, we have a couple of quick announcements. GAN Seniors is putting on an event, Seniors Expo, on March 26th out in the arena, and they're inviting lobsters here. So anybody who wants to learn anything about the GAN Seniors, come and visit them on March 26th. And it doesn't give me it. Yes, it is, from 10 to 3.
It's a volunteer. They're telling about services available, but it's also volunteer opportunities.
If you want to know anything about what's going on at GAN Seniors, come. Okay, Barb Pinkman. Paul, you have a couple slides? Okay.
Just a quick reminder that today is our inaugural Travel Tales, and today Alison Timos is going to be talking about an introduction, a tour of London, and an introduction to mudlarking. This is not an official speaker. This is a casual, relaxed event. I have no idea how many people may stay, maybe 6, maybe 26, we'll just wait and see. We're going to gather here in front of the screen. We will be using the screen, excuse me, today because Alison has lots of photographs she wants to share with you. So I just wanted to remind you, once everybody, the meeting is over and people leave, those of you that would like to stay, just gather around the front. We're going to have a really interesting talk by Alison, and then the following month, Jerry Valahora will be doing a presentation. His travel tale is going to be focused on Brazil and Peru. So we do have more people coming up. I do have more people who've stepped forward with a tale they'd like to tell. And I'd just like to remind you, it's relaxed, it's casual. We just want to hear the tales of your exciting travel. Thank you.
Thank you, Barb. Barb has been coordinating this from the beginning. She's doing a great job. Thank you, Barb. And last but not least, Susan.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to tell you about the event that we're having for St. Patrick's. Linda already is ready for it over at the Legion. It's Tuesday night, the 17th, from 4 to 8 or 9. I'm not quite sure when it ends, but they'll be serving Irish stew, and Tim and Terry are doing the music. So it's a really nice event. There's not a whole lot of room for dancing, but we make do. But we're celebrating St. Patrick, and I'm French, but I always celebrate St. Patrick's. And then also, I would like to thank all of our dancers that came yesterday for our class. We had a lot of fun. And I would like to especially thank Kim. She's here somewhere. There she is back there. She has organized a lovely playlist, and she has the equipment to do so we can really hear that music now. We appreciate that. And she will be here next time. She has said that she would be gone on her vacation, but she is staying for us for the next time, which is April the 13th. It's the day just before the Probus meeting. So see you then. See you St. Patrick first. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan, and her fancy feet. Suzanne, yeah. All the letters in the alphabet. Okay, is there anybody else want to notice good for Toastmasters? Not Toastmasters. Where am I? Probus. There we go. Okay. I don't see anybody standing up, so I guess you're all ready to go on to the lunch bunch. Linda will be there to host you, and I hope you have a great month, and we'll see you all soon.